Vedo il counter. Ah no, il counter no. Hello! Hello guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We've turned this into beer time for today. Happy Thursday. I wanted to we had the meeting before the stream today, and there's so much happening. I was trying to figure out if we were going to make it into the half hour, but hopefully this will be the case. So hello everyone, hello all the Irish people celebrating St. Patrick's Day, everyone else celebrating St. Patrick's Day. We've got the right coloring around us, of course. We've the right green that's relevant to the occasion. We're all Irish today, yes, Byron, absolutely, yes. Hello, Captain Darwin. Hello, Gramarth, and hello, Gavin. We are just about, I think you're right that you're saying that the followers, a number of followers has dropped since yesterday quite significantly. I don't know why, but according to the counter, we're missing about 120 or 180 followers to get more games into the back catalog on the Street Store. So hopefully this will happen today. An excuse to drink beer on screen. Hexaboo, we weren't sure, to be honest. We were like, are we allowed to do it or not? Well, I mean, considering that Snoop Dogg does even worse on Twitch, I think we're not going to be punished for any of that. So no Guinness, no. By the way, thank you to our Sardinian friends. This is our Italian beer, so that's what we have in house. So 1 week ago we launched Distant Worlds. So just before we do anything, thank you, a massive thank you to all the fans who bought Distant Worlds, gave us feedback, gave us precious feedback. I just want to say this was the biggest launch ever for the company. It was even bigger than Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sector last year, bigger than Panzer Corps, bigger than Gladius. So it's set the tone for the 2022 releases for us, and we're super happy about how it went. Of course, there were some technical issues that we, Eric and Elliot have worked and are working around the clock to fix all these technical issues, and hopefully this is going to be sorted out. The vast majority of the issues have been sorted out already, but there's still stuff to be fixed. And thanks for subscribing, Barold. The major things were, the technical issues that that were reported at launch. Consider that thousands of people have bought the game, and it's pretty much normal that some of these things happen. Some stuff did slip through the cracks, but hopefully this is going to be resolved, and we are going to move to the next phase where the guys can focus on future content. Thanks for following, Carnifex. And one thing I wanted to say, well, first, Distant Worlds 2 reached number 2 in worldwide charts on Steam, with Elden Ring being number 1. So of course it's a huge achievement. We reached number 2 and we stayed there for a good part of 24 hours. So it was not just a quick thing. We've had 56,000 people adding the game to their wish lists over the last week, and the average time played on the game so far is 14 hours for Distant Worlds 2. So people are definitely playing the game. Just to give you an idea, this is well within the top 5 of the most played game in terms of average time played per user so far. So it's great. The most played game on our catalog is actually the Strategic Command series. This is where our fans spend the most time. So No, this is not Bruno's. This is mine. I just write very very small characters because I want to put a lot of stuff in the same card, and I you know I should write bigger letters. That's why you know the guys are printing me all this stuff. I'm old, guys, and you know one of my fellow colleagues, Julia, says that I shouldn't be printing all this to save the planet, but whatever. And so this was Distant Worlds. So again, we are going to still work on the game for a good part of this month, and probably in the first part of April, to fix things and to stabilize what the current code is, and then we'll move to the next phase. So creating new content, updates, new features and such, and make sure that we are able to improve, you know, the game experience, but not only sort of add to the game experience, and potentially give you some news about what's coming up next in the very near future. Maybe a tablet. That's too fancy, Exabu. I don't have the budget for that. You've got budget for beers once every month, so that's it. Did Julia play Mordante? Julia, I don't know if she played. I don't know if she played, but if she's in the chat, she can definitely respond to that. Starship Troopers. Well, you're asking, so I'm going to give you the news. Somebody else, Boyan is asking for Starship Troopers news. Starship Troopers is not going to release Q1. We've decided to postpone it a little bit more. We have made the decision to postpone it for two reasons. One is that the guys have just added two new really cool units, and they're fixing some of the existing gameplay, or balancing some of the existing gameplay on the later missions. And we are moving towards a new sort of beta program that's especially for these games that are going to be sold to many people. We want to avoid all this issues we had with the Distant Worlds release. So we are going to make it so that when it releases, all these technical issues won't be there. And to do that, we need to give another pass of QA testing, especially on the technical side. And we'll make sure that when the game releases, it doesn't have all these issues that we've had, because it hinders our review scores, and that's not good. But when you have such great review scores, because people like the game and what it is, and then you've got like downvotes just because there's a bug, or there's screen resolution issue and so on. It's just a pity, because that's nothing to do with with actual features and how the game plays. So it's a bit of a something that we're taking in as a criticism, is that so far we were only reaching to wider audience once in a while. Now we're as Slitherine is moving into into the bigger league, we have to confront with bigger problems, and of course this is an important part. So we just want this to not happen again, and so this is a consequence of what just happened, and we're taking the conscious decision. We know that this is not going to make a lot of people happy, but it's not going to be a lot of time. It's just the guys are just evaluating how much it's going to take them to finish the game and move it to external QA and make it so that we don't have all these issues again. But yes, I mean the game is still on track. We've got all the missions in. So if you're part of the beta, you'll see that you've seen that all the missions are in. It's like full beta. All the units, all the missions are in. All the skirmish maps are in. There's the game is there. It's all there. So if you know that from the beta, and there's quite a lot of people in the betas, a few hundred, if not thousands, that it's not like that far away. So that was on Starship Troopers. I was going to announce this at the end of the stream and then shut everything down so that nobody could be shouting at me, but Anyway, I'll have some tea. Thanks, Boyan, with tea or whatever you want to call it. This is tea of the tea of the day. Also, on other news. So, in other news, we've got the announcement of Panzer Corps Axis Operation 1943, the next in the Axis Operation series. One of the this is my best, my favorite logo so far. It's of course all set or mainly set in Eastern Europe. We are getting we're starting beta testers recruitment as well today. So make sure that you subscribe to that, because it's a good opportunity to play in advance. And the great thing about the Axis Operation series is that Kerensky is really adding a lot of new features all the time. And by new features, I mean new ways to play around with what's existing, but also, you know, clever map design, and you know, adding every time there's a new Axis Operation game, there's an evolution in how things play out. So one of the things I really like about 1943, it's basically, you know, that a lot more factions are involved now. It's really, you know, the part of the war where really a lot of stuff happens, and there's a lot of things going on, but a lot of, you know, evolution in equipment, and the tanks are becoming super cool, and it's really fun to play. And there's a lot of more opportunities to you know, to play around with units, which is great. So in terms of when it's releasing, the Axis Operation 1943 will most probably release before Pacific, and so it's going to be the next beta content for Panzer Corps. Oddly, I haven't encountered any technical. Well, Hexabull, that's something that, you know, in the beta for Distant Worlds, we had, you know, a few hundred people in the beta, and we didn't have any of the technical issues coming up. So it's not something that we were seeing happening. It's just that when you throw the game at, you know, tens of thousands of people, then, you know, you end up with a larger pool of players with a lot of different screen resolutions and operation systems and all the kind of stuff. And, you know, that's what's happening basically. Any news on any future DLC for Fantasy General 2 Lancer? We don't have any news on future content for Fantasy General 2. I don't think there's any plan in doing more, to be honest. That's not something that we're working on right now. Right, so in unrelated, but how it is released such games, Steam speaks of March 31st. Yes, we haven't changed the date on Steam yet. We will change the date on Steam when we have a 100% fixed release date. So in the next few days, we're agreeing on a release date now with Artistocrats and with Sony Pictures as well. There's a lot of conflicting agendas here, so we need to be careful in how we pick the date. But once we will have the new release date, we will update it on Steam and make sure that we have, you know, we have a program of stuff happening between now and the release of the game. And of course, you know, not everyone will be as you know, understanding as you guys are in the chat now. So there will be a lot of people angry about it, especially because we've got quite a significant number of pre-orders on Starship Troopers. So it's not going to be, you know, good news for everyone. Why don't, oh gosh, the jokes about Distant Worlds factions, these are for Francesco. I am not good at that. Any DLCs coming for Warhammer 40k Gladius? After the recently released community patch, thanks for hinting on that. Do we have stuff ready for Gladius? Yes, we've released a community patch for a huge community patch for Gladius today. Oh, was it today or yesterday? There's a lot of stuff that's been added or fixed, or it's not like super significant changes, but there's a lot of fixes, like tons of fixes that have been released with this community update. So I refer you to the big, long, huge changelog on the Steam page, where there's an actual announcement about it, and you'll see all of the changes that we have made to the game. Proxy is also very active working on the next DLC. We have 2 DLCs planned for this year at the moment, and we can't really tell you what it is now. But there's still a lot of content coming up for Gladius. Gladius is still in the top list of our most played games and most purchased games as well. So it's definitely something that we're willing to support over time, and Proxy is doing an excellent job at following up on that and adding more factions and units and fixes to the game. But this community update is really something that we wanted to give some big thanks to the community itself for supporting us, giving us all the feedback and such, and making sure that we release all these changes. So that's for Gladius, and we are going to let you know probably around, I think in a month's time, you'll know more about what's coming up next. About in a month's time. Yeah. Beer, Mordante. Mordante, you were asking what I'm playing. I am. Do you mean a Slitherine game or games in general? That would make a difference. I can't say any Slitherine game because my developer will be angry at me not mentioning the other ones. So, but my favorite Slitherine game is still Quadriga after all these years. Thanks for following us. Seawave in general. Favorite game ever. I can't really tell you. You're gonna be laughing at me all the time. So I can't really. I'm old. I used to play all these very old games anyway. Right, so more. I just wanted to sort of also tell you about WeGo Stalingrad. WeGo World War II Stalingrad releasing on the 31st of March. Sergeant Z-Dog, I'm also playing Solitaire. Did they actually still do Solitaire in the Windows package? I don't know. I used to play Solitaire when I was doing boring jobs. Now I've been with Slitherine too long to actually be bored and play Solitaire during my work hours. So World War II Stalingrad releasing on the 31st of March. We have a new dev diary, which is out on the site. You can see a lot of information about fog of war and reckoned military intelligence. Of course, in a WeGo game, the fog of war part is key, and it's a great thing that thanks for subscribing, Milos. And on the fog of war, gladly I don't have to explain what a WeGo game is, because most of the time I have to explain how that works. But of course, you don't know what's happening until you kind of you launch your turn and you actually see unfold. So a lot of the fog of war mechanics are instrumental to making the game funnier and the experience, the deeper the experience as well. So there's a lot of insights about that on the dev diary, and a lot about reckoning military intelligence, which is very much related to the fog of war and knowing what's happening behind the fog of war, whilst planning your upcoming move. As I said, we're going to release the game on Matrix Games only for the time being on March 31st. End of month, this is going to be our next big war game. And hopefully you'll have plenty of time to enjoy this game. I think that the guys, Brian and his team with the WeGo series, you know, this is sort of the follow-up of the Desert War product we've released a while ago. You know, the system itself works super well. So if you're into deep wargaming, then I think you're gonna love WeGo World War II Stalingrad. I think the system, the WeGo system they come up with, works super well with the setting itself. So it just lands it, you know, and it just works very well also with the with how big the maps are, and you know how it plays, and it just fits with the type of product it is. So and also on this XCRG, I don't know if you're around here, but XCRG, it's yeah, Captain Arwin. That, you know, really, if it was simpler to explain what WeGo is and how it plays, I think we'd all go WeGo, because it's really a great system. It just works super well, you know. And I wish that it was something that players, it's like more, you know, wider public would understand a bit more, because it's just really cool. XCRG is going to play the game, I think, for the first time today on our channel, on our Twitch channel at 8 p.m. And every Thursday at the same time until release, we're going to play the game. So you're going to see a lot more about it and understand a bit more how all this works. And you know, I'll be able to see with you see yourself how the game is structured. Right, so more. I've got a lot of stuff to say still. So combat mission, exactly, Mordante. Yeah, good point. Combat mission, exactly what I'm saying. It just works very well for, you know, proper war games. Just doesn't translate into wider public games. It's hard. I mean, there are some, but all still kept quite niche anyway. So yeah, I've got notes here to let you know that, of course, I don't know if you've noticed, I mean, it's a Thursday, so it's release day. We've just launched Warplan Pacific on Steam. Warplan Pacific hit Steam just a couple of hours ago. To celebrate that, we've got a we've got a Warplan week going, which means that we are having a big promo on the Warplan series. So Warplan and Warplan Pacific are both up to 50% off until Monday, if you want to give it a go. It's on both the Slitherine site and Matrix, so you can check it out there and see if you're interested in playing out this series. It's a really cool game. It's a really good series. Alvaro, I mean, back when you launched, I mean, this is cool, because this is one of the first game I can tell you we've launched when we already had tea time, so I know that how we approached it at tea time and how we talked about it whilst we were launching it. So I can tell you that this is, you know, one of our most popular war games out there. Alvaro's doing a great job with this system, and it's only good that when we decide to launch a game, a war game on Steam, it has to be a game that, you know, has the potential to reach a much wider audience. And I think, you know, Warplan is definitely one of these games. And so I'm very happy that we've started the series on Steam and now adding Warplan Pacific to it. Thanks for following, Daniele. On top of it, just a reminder from Julia that you've got to subscribe to the newsletter. You have to, and it's a 10% discount if you get subscription the first time. And every single newsletter gives you a coupon of 30% on a selected game. So you can receive the newsletter, use the coupon to purchase the game that's attached to the newsletter of the day. So I've got a note here. There's also an editorial that I write every week, but that's not something you have to read. It's just something we add because we like to sort of keep communicating with you guys. Why have the daily streams been reduced from 2 per day to just 1? Yeah, close to 1. Really, it's a good point. This is a decision we've made on with the marketing guys. You know, we wanted to make these streams a bit more relevant and a bit more special, so to focus on crafting something special instead of just doing, you know, just games and just to occupy, you know, the space on the Twitch channel. It's also because when we plan, you know, the future of the channel, we want to have content that's less about just generic gameplay, but more about, okay, we're trying to deliver something that's really cool about a specific game or a specific setting, or, you know, and so the first phase is like, you know, stream down in terms of, you know, make less content and, you know, see how it works. Because of course, when you do, you know, a huge number of streams, you've got like your average viewers are going down. So if we want to focus, on communicating more what we do and just focus on bigger streams than just like covering the channel with a lot of stuff. You're right that streaming older titles would be useful. Again, it's a matter of finding, you know, special things to show about the older games, not just stream them, because there has to be a reason. So that's really the reason why we've sort of, you know, scaled back a bit. But you'll see that in the coming months we'll start doing a lot more stuff. I'm running out of time. Big thanks to Richard York, Smart War Games, for starting videos on We Go Over to Stalingrad. And we got one of the things that Paolo was going to was pointing at the other day was that the number of streamers that is covering Distant Worlds 2 is huge. And we have a lot of new people never covered any of our games that are starting to know about a bit more about what we do and so on. So every game we release, every one of these big games we release, we sort of step up in terms of how many people we reach. And Paolo was, you know, really pushing me to thank all of our, you know, the founding fathers of our, you know, streaming community, because, you know, you're the, you know, the rocks on which we base our, you know, our future plans. So we don't want to sort of praise only the new guys, but, you know, all you guys that are streaming for us, with us every week. You know, we want to thank you all. Do we have a list of streams coming up? Bruno is almost, you know, end of March. Bruno is gonna leave us. So the 31st of March is the last stream that Bruno will do with us, and we'll tell you a bit more about what he's going to do afterwards, if he wants to. We're going to make a special about it, special about the plan, Bruno's plans for the future. It's really cool, actually. So you'll enjoy it. Today we've got, after this, we've got Panzer Corps 2, Sergeant Z-Dog, and Gamer playing Valorant Victory Stalingrad at 6:30. XTRG is playing We Go World War II Stalingrad at 8 p.m. And again, XTRG is playing Warplane Pacific at 9:30 p.m. So we've got late night for you guys. Tomorrow we've got Phil Glory Medieval Storm of Arrows with Richard York at 8 p.m. And on Saturday we have Cushion playing Distant Worlds 2 at 8 p.m. No more buses for Bruno. Well, he's not taking a bus now. He's coming by bike every day. He's a very athletic guy. Steering losing another Bruno. Yeah, I know. I feel the same. Well, guys, I think we're done with today. I mean, now let me check if I have more to say. I said this, and this. I said this, and this. Yeah. So next week we'll hopefully have a release date for Starship Troopers. We're reassessing a lot of release schedule with all that's happening around the world, and that's why we're not showing you the release schedule, because there's a load of moving parts, and everything we say could just be shuttered in in a matter of days. So we want to make sure that we reassess everything and then show you something that makes sense. And on next week we'll be 1 week away from we go over to Stalingrad. We're reassessing also the release of Combat Mission series with Battlefront. We're relooking at the release schedule for the Battle Sector content as well. So yeah, a lot going on. Make sure that you stick with us. I'll see you next week on Thursday for tea time. And we're also going to tell you a bit more about our plans for Twitch, which you've asked about, and there's a lot going on. So hopefully next week we'll also know a bit more about it. So thanks a lot for joining us, and again, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'll go back and finish my beer, and you enjoy the next stream, which is, I think, Panzer Corps 2, is it? Yes. So see you. Bye.